Now let's get some more insight into this move by INEC to set the dates for future elections in the country. And I'm now being joined by the Director of Voter Education and Publicity of the electoral body, Mr. Oluwole Osaze Uzi. He is in our Abuja studios. Now, INEC came out with these dates all the way to the year 2055. That's 36 years from now. But the election that is to come up next year, which is the very next one in just about a year's time, the National Assembly has reversed the dates. The bill is before the president, awaiting assent as we speak. So how realistic is setting dates for elections all the way to 2055?
Well, thank you very much. I must point out that we have not set the dates for the next 36 years. We've set the date ad infinitum. For you can continue from 2055, set it for computed for 2059, for 2063, and so on and so forth. Basically, it's nothing new. This was, at the time we released the date for the next year's elections, this was stated. So today's one was a restatement of what was. There is a bill before the National Assembly for the President, that's correct, but it has not become law. It's still inchoate, it still hasn't become law. Until it becomes law, we will now examine it to see whether it affects the dates we have fixed or the sequence we have the way. Don't forget that the bill deals with sequence, not dates of elections.
Now, why I asked the question, I think Mr. Uzi, the reason why I asked the question is this. If the election that is for next year can have the dates changed by the National Assembly, the question is, why set the dates for future elections? In spite of what you've already said about the fact that this is just sequencing, as it were, or putting in place best practices, but why set the date that far if it can be changed, as we're seeing evidence now for even the one of next year? That's the question I'm asking.
Well, until it is changed, we must operate with the extant law. The National Assembly, the bill before the president, does not deal with dates of elections. It deals with the sequence, which election should come first, which should come second, which should come third. It doesn't attempt to fix dates of elections. The National Assembly has gone to great lengths to state that, actually. And this one, we are fixing dates based on our powers conferred on the Commission by the Constitution. So there's a difference between fixing the sequences of dates and fixing dates of elections. They've been at pains to explain that to Nigerians, that they are dealing with sequence of elections, not dates of elections. They still reserve the power on the Commission to fix dates for the elections.
Yes, but again, I'm sorry, I must take you back to the original point, which is that in changing the sequence, the dates that you have announced are two dates per election, per national election. Yes. What the National Assembly has done is to change the sequence and create the position for 3 dates, not 2.
Yes.
So
correct.
in that kind of situation, you're saying yes, it hasn't become law. But if it does become law, will that not have impact on what you are just announcing now? And I'm talking of 2019, not 2055.
If it becomes law, obviously it will have an impact if the total number of elections or days set aside for elections are 3 days. Then all we have to do is add another day. If it becomes law and it's operational, then we add another day. So if, for example, we decide two weeks, the second election will come 2 weeks after the first, the Commission may look at it and say, okay, fine, the third election might come a week after or 2 weeks after. So the basic principles are still the same. There's no conflict at all whatsoever.
It's okay. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Oluwole Osaze Uzi, the Director of Voter Education and Publicity at INEC. Thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.